And welcome back, everybody, to the Paws preview. It's week 2 of the college football season, and we are going right at it. I am Jake Gibson, joined alongside my friend and co-host Kevin Burrow, who's been one busy man, by the way, with all these recordings. But before we get into some talk about this upcoming matchup between FIU and Penn State, Kevin, I know you have some news. I know you have something to announce. So take it away, Kev. What do the people need to know?
I'm a free agent, technically.
You have an agent?
No, I am my own agent, but I am getting a lot of help in the process. I appreciate everyone. Essentially 2 days ago, Sports Illustrated informed me that the G5 Football Daily site would be, shut down. I don't know what the right terminology is, but it is currently up. It is idle. If you want to read my articles from there, I'll open the site. Yeah, it's still there. Everything is still there. So, yes, they announced that they would move on from the G5 site. Unfortunate. Obviously, the timing is really – there's no other way to say it. Very disappointed by that. But we move on. And I am happy to say that I was able to start a Substack. So I've only put 2 things on there, plus, the Paws preview show for the Bethune game, the Paws post-game show, which Jake did, and I appreciate him doing. Yes, there it is right there. You could pledge if you want to give money. By all means, I'm not going to stop you. So I will be doing some more paywall content. Just unfortunately, it's the reality of it. Can't do really much about that. But I will. It's going to be the same exact content. Everything I did on G5, I will be doing on here. Except the only difference will be that I will be doing, instead of more CUSA recap articles, it'll just be, kind of like what you just saw there, roundtable type article, roundup articles. So I'll see how that's going to work. Obviously, we have the CUSA weekly games, the weekday games. So yeah, it's getting a lot of love. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. It says 11 subscribers, but I promise you, it is getting the viewership that I expected. It is, and I'm happy about that. I appreciate everyone who has supported me throughout my time doing my FIU stuff. I continue to hope that continues to be the case. And unfortunately, yes, not the situation I wanted, not the situation SI wanted. It's out of my boss's control, but I'm still here at least up until the end of the season. After that, I'm gonna have to regroup and see what's going on. But yes, I'm open to any opportunity. If anyone wants to reach out, I've already been reached out by a couple people. Looked into those opportunities, and definitely gonna keep in touch for that stuff in the future. But gonna continue to do my best to cover this team. I love covering this team. I love FIU. I think I made that very clear in my tweet. Love covering the team. So yeah, unfortunately, not what I wanted, but my final article was the Bethune win. So
hell yeah,
I guess I did go out on a bang. So yeah, looking forward to the season. Hopefully, it is a good one to allow me to put some paywall content. And excited to talk some Bethune recap, Penn State. Definitely a tough game, no question about it. But I don't know. I feel like deep down, I feel like there's a world where we are doing a very, very insane show.
Alrighty then. By the way, horrific timing on SI's part. It is absolutely surreal that this happened right before the season started. Where's the love for G5? Come on, we're a group of 5 people. This is absolutely ridiculous. But let's get right into previewing this game, starting off with talking about what we saw from their win over Bethune-Cookman last week. So before we go any further, let me quickly just do something here. Let me just go to this poster I have right here. And over that Bethune thing right here, it's a W. It's a W. Marking it down there. You can hardly see it because I need a stronger marker than this. But it's so good to start the season on a high note, Kevin. And that's exactly what we saw with a very complete game on all sides for FIU. But I think we can both agree they looked good, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. It was Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, there's many ways to look at this game, right? I mean, first, you said it. Like, as dominant as it could be, and I mentioned this on the million Penn State shows that I've been on, it's a sigh of relief that FIU went out there and dominated an opponent from start to finish. FIU trailed once, and that was it. 3-0. That was it. FIU didn't allow a touchdown. FIU had 6 rushing touchdowns. I really would have wished the passing game was a little bit stronger from Kiwan.
Yeah.
But again, it was raining. It was bad weather. You had to run the ball. At that point, you have to run the ball. Yeah, I think Kiwan was fine. Like, he wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible either. Keyshawn Owens, nice little breakout game. Like to see that. 2 touchdowns. I think that 3-headed monster really did a good job. But again, against a really bad Bethune team, like, that is by far and I've said this to multiple people. Bethune-Cookman was one of the worst teams I've ever seen step foot into FIU, to Pitbull Stadium.
Yeah.
A field at Pitbull Stadium in the last couple of years. I think you would agree. The Long Island game, maybe just as bad, maybe even worse, but
yeah,
it was pretty bad. So again, I would take a lot of it with a grain of salt, everything that did occur in that game. But of course, you have to be happy. It's a win. A win is a win. You're starting 1-0 for the first time since 2022, just like Mike McIntyre started 1-0 in his first year at FIU. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to take away, a lot of good. The bad, definitely special teams. Willie Simmons noted that in his press conference. It was not good, not up to par. Trey Wilhoit did flip the field as we had heard throughout all camp, so that was very impressive. Likely going to be seeing that a little bit more this upcoming week, but yeah, I think it could have been a lot better. I mean, kickoffs, you had the penalty there. There was an issue with the field goal. Yeah, and then Noah Grant missed the field goal too. So
yeah, he did.
It was the penalty on the extra point. It was the field goal missed. So yeah, tough game on special teams. And then Saquon Jean-Pierre he muffed the punt. So that's as bad as it gets. So yeah, not a good start on special teams. But aside from that, I mean, you stopped the run fairly well. The pass kind of dominated you a little bit. T1 was very lucky on some instances. And I think it was bad decision making too, just getting a little desperate, trying to get the ball out of his hand. But there were times he looked a lot better when it came to the decision making, just some quick shovel passes that did get a lot of yardage or did get positive yardage at the end of the day. A lot of decisions where he had to run the ball, and he did well on that. So yeah, overall, it was a good game, but there's still a lot that could have gone a lot better for this FIU team. That doesn't make me nervous for the Penn State game, sure. But I do think there's a world, and Willie said this, the biggest growth for a team is from week 1 to week 2. Now, FIU is facing the worst team that they will face all year to facing the best team in the country, in my opinion. So it is certainly a big it's a drastic change. You're going from one end of the barometer all the way to another. You're not finding any middle ground. So yes, FIU will not win this game. I will I will say that right now. We will not win the game, but I haven't given my score prediction, so who knows? And
there you go.
Definitely a world where I still see an upset, but unlikely.
Well, yeah, you definitely mentioned some of those mistakes.
And there was no spoiling that. Like I didn't need to spoil my prediction. I think everyone knew the second they turned on the podcast who was going to win this game.
Okay, look, I understand no one picked Northern Illinois when they walked into Notre Dame's to South Bend and beat them, okay? But I'm just saying it can happen. That's why you play the game.
Yes, but
that's why you play the game.
But Penn State is a much more complete team than that Notre Dame team.
Whatever. Alrighty then. By the way, you mentioned the mistakes that Keyone made, and I talked about it in the post game. There was this one play in particular, I think it was second quarter, where it was a rollout to the right. Alex Perry wide open, enough for the first down. Keyone wanted more, threw to another receiver 20 yards deep, almost an interception. Definitely take what the defense gives you. For Bethune-Cookman, they gave FIU a lot. So definitely do that. Now, what's the matter, Air Raid boy? Afraid you might need to establish the run? That's exactly what the Panthers did against Bethune-Cookman. The running game was on fleek, especially when they got into the red zone. That was one of the greatest rushing attacks in a game I've ever seen out of FIU. Every time they got into the 20-yard line, it was lights out, and I can't play that clip because we don't have it anymore, but it was lights out to see what that running game was able to do. Everyone contributed, Kevin. Keyshawn, Lyons, Carey, even got some McNeil action, some Clemens action, and the two quarterbacks, Keyone and the Holy P, Joe Pizanski, all got in there and made some magic happen with their legs. Talk about how special that group was.
Well, yeah, McNeil isn't a running back. He's a wide receiver. But, yes, a lot of guys did get some run. And not even just on the running game. Like you look at the wide receivers, it was
Yep.
the first time in program. And I did the research. I went through every single box score in FIU history.
This?
I am not lying to you when I say this. I promise you, you could go back to my history after it is deleted. And I'm joking. But yeah, yes, it was the first time in program history 13 different players recorded at least one reception. And there was like 16 players targeted in that game. So it does not mean that everyone caught the ball. Actually, yes, 13 players caught the ball, but it doesn't mean they didn't just target 13 guys. They targeted over 13 players. So
Yeah.
they will spread the ball around. That is one thing Willie Simmons was very clear about. He still feels good about 10 to 11 as wide receivers. They clearly ran a 3 running back system that honestly worked to a T. Like, I don't see Jordan Clemens getting in there again, like, for example, but like, yes, give me some Bam, give me some Ant, give me some KJ. Like, I want that, like that was awesome to see. All 3 of those guys scored a touchdown. KJ with 2. KJ now at 999 career rushing yards.
That's so lame. Yeah, that's so lame.
That I apologize. We had been told it was 1,000. We had calculated 1,000 multiple times. He was just one off, so it's okay. But
unfortunate.
Yeah, man. I think FIU was able to establish the running game pretty well, which opened a lot of the passing.
Yeah, definitely. That's so lame because everyone. It wasn't just us. FIU Athletics themselves said KJ or Owens crossed the 1,000-yard mark. It didn't actually happen, but for sure it's going to happen.
Within the first 30 seconds of the game, you'll be seeing an 1,000-yard graphic.
Yeah. Listen, we don't know how many positives we can take away from this upcoming Penn State game, but at least there will be one feel-good thing that'll come out of it, which will be the 1,000 yards for KJ. He even said it in the post-game presser. Oh man, this is so awesome. Oh well. But you know what else was awesome? The defense against Bethune-Cookman only gave up 9 points. I mean, you only allow 9 points to any team, even if it is one of the worst teams FIU has played in a hot minute in Bethune-Cookman, and you got to be happy with that. You got to be happy with Johnny Chaney, what he's been able to do in such short notice. Just walk into FIU and in his first game drop 8 total tackles and a tackle for a loss. So he and Josiah Taylor were like the partners in crime, I think, and that unit looked really, really good, Kevin. Love the Flannies Cup.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I mean, look, this was a new linebacker group. Only returners on the defense are Blades and Keegan Davis. So clearly it was going to be a lot of new, but I liked a lot of new, and a lot of new was really good. Percy Courtney with a sack, Johnny Chaney with a forced fumble. They both had a pretty good game. Chaney finished, I think, tied for the lead in total tackles with actually Dwight Nunu, who was a backup linebacker, second team linebacker. So yeah, overall, couldn't have asked for a better situation there. It's a guy that's very experienced in Chaney with a guy in Percy who is also a very solid guy. Then you have the case of, the safeties, Josiah McGrew, Shamir Sterling. Like, you could have asked for the 2 youngest safeties to be out there. So McGrew, I think he had like 1 busted run. Like, he allowed that, but like overall, like, fine, solid game, not bad. So yes, overall good stuff. And I like what we saw from the defense as a whole, but again, have to take it with a grain of salt. This is an FCS team in Bethune-Cookman. We can finally say this is an FCS team. We don't have to say, yeah, it was a close game. It was a good FCS team. No. This was an FCS team that FIU dominated from start to finish. So, yeah, MTSU wasn't able to do it, by the way. But
I was just about to say that. It felt good to finally just whack an FCS opponent, something that a certain team in Murfreesboro who saved all that money with the uniforms to try to build up their team. It didn't really pay off against their FCS squad. So, yeah, definitely. There were a couple of definitely big chunk plays given up by the secondary in that game to Bethune, but
shout out to the crowd. What a crowd. Like,
oh yeah, the crowd was amazing.
Despite whatever may have happened, like, it was over 18,000, first time since 2019. We have that attendance at a home game, at a true home game at FIU. Obviously, the Lone Depot, FIU was the home team, but it was a 27,000 people attended thing. Yeah. So, yeah, man. Shout out to Panther Nation. I know a lot of them are going to Happy Valley to State College. Unfortunately, we're not 2 of those. Tough, but we'll make sure we're at the CUSA title game. If
I was listening to Hawkman and Crowder. I was listening to that show earlier today. They said they just asked, did FIU storm the field after the Miami game? No, we couldn't because we were at a baseball stadium in the 300 levels, so we couldn't do that. But if we could, we would have, because I have yet to do a field.
I'm curious. Like, I don't know. You can't storm a field on an opposing team.
Yeah, I mean,
so like,
and
FIU,
you get fined.
If FIU beats FAU or beats Liberty at that point, they're ranked. Do you storm the field? Do fans know how to storm a field?
It's not hard.
But like, does the FIU faithful know what storming a field means?
Listen, if they watch the Paws podcast, they'll know. They'll know.
Yes, guys. Honestly, if FIU beats Florida Atlantic, storm the field. We should start a storm the field trend or something like that. Like, we need FIU. Like, I don't know how much do you have to pay if you're FIU to CUSA or NCAA?
Florida State just paid.
FSU got fined $50K.
$50K, but that's the ACC with
FIU's $50K is very different than FSU's $50K. I'll tell you that.
Right. All righty then. So any final thoughts on that Bethune-Cookman game? Like I said, it's not a great showcase of how good FIU can be because of the opponent. The best test that's coming up to see where this team's at is not even against Penn State coming up. It's not against them. They're like the second best team in the country. It's not fair. The best game coming up that'll actually test where this team is at is the Florida Atlantic game. It's the Shula Bowl. So not a whole lot to take away about that.
That's the other thing too, though, because we asked Carrie, we're like, this is a good opportunity, not just because you're going to Big Ten country, you're playing the number 2 team in the country. Yeah. You're also playing the best team that you're going to play all season. Like, at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself, like, all right, this is an opportunity to go into Penn State, see where you stack up with the best of the best, because to be the best, you have to beat the best. And we know that. We said that. We're going to say towards the end of the year when FIU plays Liberty, we're going to say in the conference road opener against WKU. So FIU needs to know where they stack up within college football, but it also gives you an opportunity to know what you need to improve on, where you need to be better, So I think this is a great opportunity for FIU to go to Penn State, say, all right, where are we doing well? What are we doing well? What are we not? Especially in a crowd of 110,000. And that Nevada game was packed. So I'm assuming the FIU game is going to be just as packed, if not even more, because as sad as it sounds, FIU is the toughest non-conference opponent Penn State will play. And
which is crazy.
Which is insane, because they're playing Villanova next week, and they're playing another really bad team after that. I will look for their schedule right now. They're playing Villanova. Yeah, come on. Villanova, and then it's Oregon. Yep, that's it. And then you're going to the Big Ten play.
Yeah, they don't, because the Big Ten does 10. Funnily enough, the Big Ten does 9 conference games, 3 non-cons, and the SEC is about to do that. I believe next season they're gonna replicate that, where you have 3 conference games and then 3 non-cons on whoever you want. And clearly Penn State just they have money to throw around, to give to us, to give to Nevada, to give to Nova, to get them to go to Happy Valley and help test them. Because I guess now we can officially start talking about Penn State. This game to them, it's a tune-up game. The Nevada game was a get the rust out of the way game, and to them, this FIU game and the Villanova game are tune-up games for them when they actually have to take on a real opponent to their caliber, being, of course, Oregon on September the 27th. But what is this game to in FIU's perspective? Like, what does this game mean to the Panthers?
Yeah, I mean,
besides the paycheck, besides a big fat paycheck.
Well, that's the first thing. It's 1.6 mil.
Yeah,
that's pretty great. Look, this game is like kind of what I was saying. Like, see where you're at. See where you are at against the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah,
to make the case for number 1. That's kind of where I see it. Like, let's see where you stack with the best of the best. Like, to be the best, you have to beat the best. That's the case in this case.
I think it's time to let our guest for this episode take it away here. Talk some Penn State sports. Kevin, we got a former Penn State player. Who do we got here?
Landon Tengwall from the Landon Tengwall Show. Super cool guy. I've actually been watching his content for a bit now, ever since I found out FIU would be playing Penn State. Just so people don't get this. You go preparing a full offseason, preparing on one team.
Yeah.
And actually, I will say I made this mistake my first year. I prepared for La Tech like crazy. I knew the ins and outs of that team. But when you go into week 2, you don't know anything, and you don't have much longer to prepare, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been preparing for the Penn State game a little bit more, and now my FAU prep is going to start pretty soon. So
Hell yeah.
yes, I actually do watch quite a bit of FAU stuff, unfortunately. Just because you have to keep in mind what you're doing.
We're the Shulable podcast. We kind of have to be in the know, you know?
Yes, you have to be in the know, especially you, because now you're the neutral host. So
Neutral host.
yes, Landon Tengwall, super cool guy, super cool stuff. I was on the show a couple minutes. I don't know when it's dropping. Maybe drops tonight, tomorrow. Who knows? He drops a lot of videos per day.
He does.
And like, for example, Nike, they went from Nike to Adidas. That was announced today. Now Penn State is now the they're going to be the best Adidas school in the country. Yeah. So yeah, cool stuff. Highly recommend you to check out that interview with him and Jake. So we'll go to it right now.
Right now. And hey, everybody, hope you are enjoying our episode of the Paws Up preview thus far. It's been fun to talk about FIU's win over Bethune-Cookman, but now it's time to get into talking about the Panthers' opponent this upcoming Saturday, the Penn State Nittany Lions, ranked number 2 in the AP poll. So I am joined by Landon Tengwall of the Landon Tengwall Show, your one stop for all things Penn State up to the minute. Landon, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Kevin Brawl was already a guest on your show, so definitely have some connections there. And now it's time to return the favor here to help get the FIU faithful familiarized with what in the world they're going to be dealing with over in Happy Valley at noon. So let's just start off with talking about the head coach of the squad, James Franklin. It feels like generally from a media perspective, some people love him. Others think he can't win the big games. But honestly, where do you stand with him as Penn State's coach?
Yeah, you're right about that. Everybody's kind of 50-50. Look, I played for him. He recruited me. Yep. Obviously, I'm a fan of him. And you've won 10 games at least in the past 3 seasons. It's been really good here at Penn State. But we just haven't gotten over that hump. We haven't really been able to beat that Ohio State or Michigan when they're good. Or you saw what happened against Notre Dame. And it didn't feel all the way fulfilling in the playoffs because, yeah, we made it to the semifinals, but we beat SMU and Boise State to get there, and we fell short against Oregon in the Big Ten championship. So it feels like Penn State and James Franklin haven't really proven themselves yet. Franklin has tenure at Penn State here, has only won 3 games as an underdog. 2 of those came in 2016. The other one came in 2014, his first year. So it's been a long time since James Franklin has won a game that he's not supposed to win. He's incredibly efficient at making sure he doesn't lose the ones he's not supposed to, but he can't get over that hump. And now it looks like, hey, it might be the year. You look around college football, and there's some good teams out there, especially after week 1. Yeah. It's like there's not a real juggernaut, though. There's not one team that you point to where every year it feels like, oh, there's Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State, and it's like they're unbeatable. You look around, and that's not really the case. And now this year, Penn State kind of has all the guys returning. They have the veteran quarterback. They have what is supposed to be a great offensive line. We bring in Jim Knowles from Ohio State, and that was kind of the solidifier that, yeah, you're going to make someone the highest paid defensive coordinator of all time in college football. It's national championship or bust. So that's kind of where the divide is right now in the fan base. Is it national championship or bust? I hold the idea that it is, because after this year, if you're Penn State, you're losing a lot. Yeah. Coaching staff, players, everybody's going to move on. It's going to be a completely different team in 2026. So it's kind of now or never for Penn State.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you mentioned a win now type of squad because of that, the amount of talent that they are returning from last season, including the quarterback that I think really does have a shot at being a number 1 overall pick if he shines this year. Drew Aller, you mentioned, used to play for Penn State 2 seasons. You blocked for this man during your time then. Just talk about what makes him so special. And are you just as confident as I am that there is a realistic shot that he could be a number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, I mean, Drew has all the talent in the world. Big arm, big guy, exactly what you want in a quarterback. And really up to this point, it's kind of similar to James Franklin. I mean, obviously he's been his quarterback, but in the fact of Drew Aller plays really well, but in those big games, he just struggles to turn it on. Everybody watched the semifinal game against Notre Dame, and it was probably his worst game of his career. So on the biggest stages, he hasn't been able to perform, but I don't put all that blame on him. He has had a real lack of wide receivers. His offensive coordinator before, who we have now, and Andy Kotelnicki, was not very good. I can speak to it as I played for Mike Yursich. It was a bad situation here. So now Drew Rattler finally has all the tools he needs. Penn State goes out, and we get 3 wide receivers out of the transfer portal. Kyron Hudson, who was a captain at USC. We get Trevor Pena from Syracuse, who was a captain at Syracuse. And then you get Devontae Ross from Troy, who's kind of that burner. So you get everything that you need. You get the bigger body guy in Hudson that can make all the catches, 2.7% career drop rate, which is the lowest drop rate of any player under James Franklin that he's ever coached at Penn State. So you got a sure-handed guy. Trevor Pena is a 6-year route running specialist from Syracuse. That's someone that could be Drew Rattler's safety blanket. He had 7 receptions last week against Nevada. And then Devontae Ross, I think, is someone that we will see this weekend. He's coming off of an injury, didn't play a whole lot against Nevada, and was really they were just easing him back in. But he's our deep shot guy, so I would expect a deep shot or two to Devontae Ross. But he hasn't had the help. He had Tyler Warren, who was the best tight end in college football last year, but the wide receiver they didn't do anything for him. It was pretty rough. So, I mean, how I look at it, it's once again, I mean, it's Drew Rattler's last year. He doesn't have any more eligibility, even if he wanted it. But, like you said, he's got the opportunity to be a very high first-round draft pick, but he's got to put it on display, especially against these better teams. But even, I mean, against Nevada, week 1, looked really good, 22 of 26, only 217 yards and a touchdown, but was incredibly efficient with the ball, got it in and out exactly where it needed to be, really only missed on maybe 1 throw. So everything we've seen from Drew Rattler so far looks good.
Yeah, without a doubt. Action speaks louder than words, and he was efficient, and he did more than enough against Nevada. Granted, Nevada is Nevada, and to the Penn State perspective, FIU will be FIU, and Nova is going to be Nova before that big matchup on September, 27th or so?
Yeah.
27th against Oregon. But I did want to talk about the running back room. It's headlined by Nicholas Singleton. Where would you say that group ranks among some of the best running units in all of FBS?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased. I blocked for these guys their freshman year, but I mean, they're 1 or 2 in my opinion. I think it's Notre Dame or Penn State as far as rushing duos, who's the best. You look at Nick Singleton, he is that home run hitter. He is the 4.3 speed and can take it the distance. And then you look at Katron Allen, who is a little bit more of that bruiser of a back, has some of the best vision I've ever seen from any type of running back. He has the hesitation. So they're kind of got that lightning and thunder thing going on. It's been fun to watch them grow. It's so unique, honestly, that both of them came back, and you have 2 running backs in their 4th year that really have shared the load for 3 years now, coming into year 4, and they're best friends. They room together. They do they're both really quiet guys, and they're just straight up ballers. And so I said after the season, I said, hey, not both of them. No way both of them come back. And at least one is going to go. I think most people thought both of them would leave. And, thankfully, that is kind of the NIL way now. You're able to retain some guys a little bit more easily than you were in the past. And so we brought them back, and part of the sell was we have a top offensive line in college football. They're going to make you guys look good, and you're going to be able to kind of continue to up your draft stock. Now, what was slightly concerning against Nevada was that we rushed really poorly. We were missing combo blocks. We were leaving guys in the hole. We really did not have an explosive run all day. Nick Singleton went for 19 yards on the ground. Katron Allen went for 43. Our longest run of the day was 12 yards. The biggest black mark all over that game. We came away, and the fans were almost angry, even after a 46-11 win. It was kind of, what the hell happened to the offensive line in the run game? Because we were told this run game is out of this world, and Nevada is giving us issues. So it was really a communication problem of, we didn't know where we were going. We weren't as physical as I'd like to see. So we actually passed the ball pretty well, and that was kind of the issue last year. So I think coming into this game against FIU, there is going to be a bit of a want to establish the run and show that we are able to run the ball and get confident in the run game. So I think you will see that early on first downs. They're going to try to run, and we are big on the outside zone run game. So we're going to try to get outside the tackles and let Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, get loose, and also they might cut it back as well. But that's kind of what I'm expecting for the beginning of this FIU game. Yeah,
definitely. I can imagine as a former offensive lineman, seeing what that group can do. especially for you, definitely looking at the X's and O's can get you agitated at just the littlest things. I can only imagine. But one thing that didn't agitate Penn State was Nevada's offense, and that was thanks in part to Penn State's defense. What makes their unit so dangerous to any team basically below their caliber that's not in the top 25? What makes them roar?
Yeah, number one, Penn State's known for having elite defensive ends, and Denai Dennis Sutton, number 33, is that. He was the highest graded defensive end from PFF across all of college football. He had 4 tackles, a sack, 2.5 TFLs. I mean, wreaked havoc on Nevada. Just all over the place. He's a madman. It's a challenge to block him. I blocked him in high school, had to block him in college here at Penn State, and he's an animal out there. Now, as far as Jim Knowles' defense as a whole, it is a complex defense, sends a lot of blitzes. So that's something to kind of be on the lookout for. And we didn't get to do a whole lot of that against Nevada. Nevada was a big option team and then just quick pass. So we weren't sending a lot of blitzes. It seems like you guys are a little bit more of a traditional offense. So I would expect a little bit more of us to send some blitzes there. But I mean, just creates havoc. 17 havoc plays against Nevada. Havoc play is a turnover, a sack, a TFL, or a pass breakup. 17 of those is pretty good. So, overall, there's a lot of disruption on the field. And then you look at the DBs. AJ Harris is a cornerback that is thought to be one of the best in all of college football, kind of a first-round talent. You got Zakee Wheatley, number 6, who's a safety. Yeah. Jim Knowles loves his safeties and to move them around. So you're going to see Zakee Wheatley in the box playing near the line of scrimmage. So that's definitely something for our guy Lights Out to look out for.
Yeah, definitely. FIU's offense, despite coming out swinging against Bethune-Cookman, BCU is BCU. This is a whole other animal here on the road. I've never been in front of a 100K stadium before, but I imagine every seat's going to be packed out, even for this kind of matchup. So what does Penn State have to avoid more than anything to ensure FIU not just keeps it close, but doesn't shock the world this upcoming Saturday?
Yeah, I like I said, I think you got to establish the run. I think that's the number one thing. You got to just grind them out. That was the biggest problem. That's why Nevada was honestly able to keep it somewhat close at the beginning. There was that our starters stayed in until the fourth quarter because we weren't able to run the ball, and they kept kind of everything underneath. I think that's the biggest thing for really. I mean, you kind of asked what we need to do, but I think if FIU can limit those big plays and also get the ball when they get the ball, snap the ball, 5 seconds or less on the play clock every single time. So basically shorten the game as much as possible. You take away as much game as possible. That favors FIU. So I think you limit the big plays if you're FIU. I think like I said, you grind out that clock as much as possible. Try to sustain some long drives. But if Penn State can get that rushing attack going, that could really start to be a problem there for FIU. And like I said, we didn't take a single deep shot against Nevada because Nevada was just playing so far off and gave us everything underneath. There is a want to really run the ball, and there is a want to take some deep shots. So I would be on the lookout for really both of those things, and they kind of go hand in hand. If you're pounding, and then, hey, deep shot, because those safeties start to kind of creep up. Obviously, I know you guys have a young, freshman safety starting for you. I think that's something that we would probably look to attack here early in the game.
So there's no point in asking you who you think is going to win, but I will say FIU minus 42 and a hook. Do you like it, or do you think it's going to be extra bad for the Panthers on Saturday?
James Franklin is really good at covering. I don't know his exact record. I'm not a huge bettor, but he's big. He's really good against those big time spreads. We did not cover against Nevada. We got backdoored.
I was thinking
last minute. They threw we put all our backups in. It was like third string, and they hit a little fade route, and then they went for 2 and then fully covered. And the Penn State faithful was not happy. So you said it's at 42 and a half?
42 and a hook. Yes, sir.
Oh, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take Penn State 42 and a half. I don't feel that good about that. And I think especially for the half there, I don't know. I'll take my guys on that one. I think it'll be a good day. I think we're going to want to run the ball. And I just think we're going to really try to also throw it deep. And so I think some explosive plays could allow us to get to that number. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd touch that, honestly. That's a good line by Vegas. They always seem to know what they got going on.
So looking a bit further ahead for Penn State, because I'm assuming this won't be the last time we see them on a nationally televised game. I'm guessing they'll be back in the CFP. But you mentioned it at the top. It's a natty or bust season for the Nittany Lions. So if they don't win out in the CFP, but win the Big Ten championship game, does Franklin get a few more years to give it a go? Or if neither happens, is he out? If both things happen, is he getting a statue? What's the situation by the end of the season with him?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, really, whatever happens, James Franklin's job is safe here. I think there's a lot of people that say he could be fired. He's not going to get fired with what he's done here up to this point. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, he needs to perform. And I think even with a Big Ten championship, really, these conference championships have really lost their lust because it just doesn't mean as much anymore. Right. So, I mean, Oregon won it in their first year, and it didn't really do anything for them. It actually got them a much worse slate of games going against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl right off of their bye. But I think anything short of what you did last year, if you don't at least get to the national championship, I mean, you got to get to the game. I think that's how about 85-90% of Penn State fans are viewing it. You get to the game. If you lose the national championship, it's a close game. It is what it is, depending on who you play. But anything short of getting back to that game, at least the semifinals, I mean, that's a major disappointment. Now, I do think it would depend if we play two really good teams. Let's say we play a Texas and then we stumble across whatever, a Georgia or Ohio State in that first round and then that quarterfinal round. I think it'd be viewed a little bit differently, but it was just harder because we played SMU and Boise State. It was such an easy gauntlet there. And then you lose the one big game you play. It left a really sour taste in a lot of these Penn State fans' mouth. So James Franklin has at least got a stack. I'd say at least 2 to 3 of those big wins. If he were to fall to a really good team in the semifinals, I think it would probably be perceived okay. But just with the roster you have, the coaching staff you have, the situation that 2026 is not going to be close to the same, it's now or never for James Franklin, Drew Aller, and everybody around this Penn State team.
Alrighty, Landon, thank you for spending some time with me today to talk to them Penn State. Please let the FIU faithful know where they can follow you, where they can watch your content, which is, I'm not kidding, up to the minute news regarding Penn State. Which, speaking of which, welcome to the world of Adidas coming soon. But tell us where they can watch your content.
Yeah, the Landon Tengwall show on YouTube, and you want to follow me at Landon Tengwall on Twitter if you're interested in offensive line, defensive line play, anything like that. Constantly got that going on Twitter. I will also be posting live videos of the FIU game. I basically sit in my studio and I'll record the TV screen and post things that happen as they happen to Twitter. So if you're interested in kind of getting those live updates of the game as you watch and kind of some replays of things that happen, hit me up on there at Landon Tengwall. But I really appreciate you having me on and appreciate you fans for welcoming me in for a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely, Landon. Thank you so much for stopping by. So, alrighty, it's time to get back into the remainder of the Paws Up preview as Kevin and myself take a look around Conference USA. We got the EA simulator back working, and then it's time to make game picks. And here's what's coming right now. It is a look around Conference USA, checking in on our foes. And I got to say, Kevin, you know I love the CUSA brand. I think this was a pretty damaging week for Conference USA for 2 big reasons. We'll get to those. But let's take a look at what happened this past week in the world.
There was a lot of wins.
CUSA. There were two big. There were 2 big.
It was a great week for Florida.
The
Florida schools, except the one in Boca.
Yeah, but UCF barely got by a depleted Jack State squad, 17-10. We all kind of expected UCF to win, but Jack State kept it really close.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a 3-hour rain delay to begin with, too, so it was really rough. But I did watch this game from start to finish. Mm-hmm. Gavin Wizmat, like he's solid, like a solid QB. I know there's a lot of talk around him when the Conference USA Roundtable chats that I'm now included in. So, yes, Kim Cook was not a big factor in this game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was raining. It wasn't great. Like, the fact that they kept it that close is impressive. Their defense is going to be pretty solid. So, good performance overall. Just we'll see what happens.
Delaware beats Delaware State. No surprise there. They've never lost to Delaware State.
Yeah, keep it up.
Wake Forest barely scrapes by Kennesaw State. There were a lot of upsets this week around college football. This would have been one of the biggest ones, but sadly, it did not happen.
I wish it would have happened. That would have been a great win for them, going into their second year as an FBS, winning the first one already, and at the FBS level against Liberty, fortunately beating us. And imagine beating a G5 team and then beating a P4. Like that would have been so cool for them. First game with Jerry Mack as the head coach. I believe it's Dexter Williams, the quarterback for them. Dexter Williams, the second out of Georgia State. That would have been so cool. But
it didn't happen.
They looked solid. Like they had a nice performance for them on special teams, aside from the missed field goal. But yeah, it was like one of those really bad games. That was actually interesting. But if they had made field goal, they would have won.
Listen, is Wake Forest a glorified Group of 5 school in football? Kinda. I mean, they're definitely one of the weakest power conference teams there are. But I'm worried that Kennesaw State maybe put all their chips on the table in this game, and they might struggle from here on out. That happens a lot. These Group of 5 teams give everything they can to beat a power conference team. They come, and regardless of if they win or lose, they put in everything they had to make that happen. And for Kennesaw State, they still came up just short, but still good effort for them. FIU beats Bethune, obviously. UNLV beats Sam Houston. I think they scored the same amount of points they did against Idaho State in 38. So
yeah, good stuff for what game was this? UNLV, Sam Houston. Yeah, it was a rough game for them. Sam Houston was. Yeah, that's not going to be the right team, I think. Just from I didn't watch the second game, but I watched the entire first game, and I don't know, not very impressed. And it was a weird situation. No need to go with their backup QB there in the second game.
Yeah,
Hunter Watson's a solid QB. You got to trust him, but just Phil Longo seems like he got his guy. That was a Wisconsin transfer, so makes sense. Phil Longo is certainly an interesting hire in my opinion, but
save that for the season finale.
It also sucks, like you're playing in Houston, you're not playing in Huntsville in front of your home crowd. Like it's tough for any student to go there unless you're sending buses out to the area. I don't know if they're doing that. So definitely a tough situation there for the Bearcats. And I think he noted like it really didn't feel like a home game. Essentially, you're playing 12 road games, which sucks. But they'll have their way with a couple games for sure.
And
this get easier playing Hawaii.
Yeah, this has a chance to be a extremely bad start to the season for Sam Houston. Anyway, Liberty beats Maine 28-7. Who cares? Who cares? Western Kentucky beats Northern Alabama. Who cares?
Not really. I mean, shout out to Maverick McIver. He's about to reach.
They looked good, but North Alabama's like,
WKU's playing Toledo. I think McIver.
That'll be a good test.
Yes, that is their first real test.
Yeah,
McIver is really good. Like he is actually awesome. Like I believe leads the country in completions, passing yards, and touchdowns. Which, the way he's been playing, man.
He had 2 games to do that.
Yep, certainly. So him, Katie Hutchinson, which is a returner, Matthew Henry, who I believe is a D2 transfer, Marvin Parrish Marvin, one of those two, freshman running back. He's pretty good. They have a couple of vets. That is a very good team in Bowling Green, and I would not be surprised if they keep this up. And they're playing LSU towards the end of the season. I'm curious to see what that looks like. They are. So I'm curious, man. If you're undefeated at that point, and you beat out LSU, or if that's your only loss, you're really looking at a team that can make the college football playoff, and that is a dynamic offense that is going to put up points. That is certainly a sleeper option to make the college football playoff for sure as a G5 representative.
Now, I would like to apologize on behalf of myself and Kevin Barral for believing that Middle Tennessee could beat an FCS school in Austin Peay. Clearly, we didn't know ball. And I believe, what are they? The Governors took down Middle Tennessee, and probably the most embarrassing loss by Conference USA.
Shout out to Scotty Walden's old school.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. If we were wondering who was the worst team in Conference USA right now, I think the Blue Raiders made that pretty clear at this moment. Anyway. Louisiana Tech, they shut down Southeastern Louisiana. Nice win for them. And then it's crazy. A team lost 73-13, and that was not the worst game of the CUSA slate. But yeah, USC put BTA on the Bears in their first game in FBS, but I'm not going to judge them too harshly. Just like Bethune-Cookman, Missouri State actually led this game first.
Yeah, tough one. Not much you can say there. I mean, it's a tough non-con, but you make some nice money out of it. And same Yeah, I mean, I believe
They're making hella guap.
They canceled the game against Arkansas, which we played in 2023.
That's right.
Game instead. I don't know if they're getting paid for the SMU game. I highly doubt that's the case. I just got to assume that's a home and home. But yes, tough game nonetheless.
And then Utah State beats UTEP. It was a pretty close game for a while, but then the Aggies start to pull away. Yeah, I mean, Scotty Walden University just came up short there, Kev. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it happens. They have a pretty tough opponent next in the FCS team. But shout out Malachi Nelson, made his first collegiate start.
Yes, he did.
Touchdown pass, solid for the most part. Just unfortunately, that UTEP offense cannot get it going for some reason. Yeah. And the defense just couldn't keep him out there for too much longer. And shout out David Yost, who barely beats Brian once again.
Barely beats Brian. I swear, if it was a better FCS team, they probably would have done it. So yeah, 19-3.
Throw Monmouth at him again. Why not?
Yeah. So that was your look at next week. Here's how we're doing standings wise. If I didn't already mention this in the last preview, I can't remember if I did. Both of us got the week 0 pick correct, so we were 1-0 there. And then week 1 happens. I went 11-1. Kevin went 10-2. We both picked Middle Tennessee over Austin P. Obviously, that backfired to hell. And then you took Scotty Walden U over Utah State. So total records now, I am at 11-1. Kevin, you were at 10-2. So it's still anybody's game as we get to the week 2 slate here. Let us take a look. We have 11 games on tap, 10 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday, technically. Barely.
Okay, well, this is a good thing. By the time the show goes up, no one has won or lost.
Yeah, hell yeah.
This will not be the first time it happened, the lone time that it happened.
Obviously, we'll save FIU Penn State towards the end. Kennesaw State is heading to Indiana, who at this current moment is ranked 23rd on the latest AP poll. Now, the sicko in me believes that this could be an upset alert. I mean, Kennesaw State, they already played close against one power conference team. Indiana did not look great in their game against Old Dominion. They only won by 13 against the Monarchs. So this screams upset potential. I'm taking Indiana because they're at home and yeah, they want to be back in the CFP. But this could be another situation where Kennesaw keeps it close for a while.
Yeah, just give me the the Hoosiers. I like the quarterback, Fernando Menendez, I think is his name.
Yeah.
It's really good. He was at Cal last year. He almost beat Miami. Solid player. I do agree with you. I could see the world of an upset, but unfortunately, I don't see it happening. I think
you want to talk about we talked about Penn State's non-con, but Indiana's non-con is just as bad. Old Dominion, KSU, and then Indiana State.
Oh well, yeah, that part's pretty bad. Yes,
that's pretty bad.
Like Nevada's not good, so
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. By the way, that's a noon kickoff. Also a noon kickoff is Liberty against Jacksonville State. That's a CUSA matchup. That's why there are only 11 games on tap and not 12. Last season, this would have been an amazing matchup, but Liberty is kind of gutted. Or actually, Jack State's the one that's gutted. Liberty is still looking to meet up with Western Kentucky in the CUSA title game. I know Jacksonville State is a tough place to play. You would know, Kevin, firsthand being there, how tough it is to win. But if Liberty wants to be in the CUSA title game and make a run at a CFP spot, they need to win games like this. I think they know that. I will take the Flames here.
Really quick, speaking of, because I will mention this. You mentioned tough places to play. Jacksonville State is tough because of their band. Shout out to Bethune-Cookman. Holy crap. They may have lost the game, but they won the battle of the bands.
They did. It wasn't close, too.
By far, it wasn't close. That was awesome. We need that more often at FIU games. We need that type of environment. Hopefully, more kids could join the band because our band is very small. It's probably the worst one in Conference USA.
Hey.
Actually, you know what? I don't know. Kennesaw may not even have a band, so who knows?
We don't know that.
I will be taking Liberty, but I think this will be a much closer game than people anticipate because I think Jacksonville State's actually a pretty solid team. I don't think they're better than last season, but I think they're close enough to keep it with Liberty. Liberty was very, people forget this. Liberty and Maine were tied at 7 going to the 4th.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like Liberty kind of broke away that really it happened. So yes, give me Liberty, but Jack State's gonna be a little bit better than people think, and it sucks. Conference game in week 2. I know it's a week 0 conference game, but that's a little different. Week 2 though, tough.
Delaware heads to Colorado. That's a 3:30 kick. There's obviously a lot of, I guess week 2 is just the week for G5 versus Power Conference matchups. Colorado is not ranked. Who did they play last week?
Eric River, Dean Patterson, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
That's right.
You saw the Eric Rivers thing?
Yeah.
You saw that, right?
Yeah, I did. Colorado's going to be mad. They want a feel-good win at home. They'll get the job done here against the Blue Hen.
I think it'll be a little bit close. I mean, look, North Dakota, what was it, North Dakota State or North Dakota? They almost beat Colorado. So for some reason, it feels like Colorado just isn't as good. Yeah. I don't think they're as good as people think. Mm-hmm. So, yes, give me the Buffs, but the Blue Hens make it close.
North Dakota State's the good FCS team. North Dakota, who they played, is not the super great one, but still.
Well, what's the team they almost beat? North Dakota State, right?
North Dakota. North Dakota State, they didn't play. It was the Fighting Hawks.
Then North Dakota. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the team I'm referring to.
Middle Tennessee, 4:00 kick for this one. Middle Tennessee's taking on Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin barely beat Miami of Ohio by a score of 17-0, but it was a shutout at the end of the day. And Middle Tennessee has given me no reason to feel confident.
You're wrong. It's North Dakota State.
What?
Dakota.
Wait, that was last season, though.
Yes, in
20. Oh, you brought up the one. Oh, okay. You brought the one last. Okay.
Yes. They almost beat them.
I'm taking Wisconsin.
Yes, me too. I don't think Middle Tennessee wins. Sorry.
Missouri State heading to Huntington, taking on Marshall, the Herd. That's a 6:00 kick. I'd like to see them score a touchdown against Marshall. Progress.
They scored a touchdown in the.
But open up with the touchdown is what I mean. So opening up with a field goal. But Marshall is a completely different team from last season, but I think they're still going to be pretty good through it all. I think even with the amount of new people they got in, they did get kind of whacked around by Georgia, but Georgia is Georgia. I'm taking Marshall.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one thing about this Marshall team, but I will take Marshall.
Up next, we have what could be the game of the week, honestly. This is a really, really good game, Kevin. It is Western Kentucky taking on the Toledo Rockets of the MAC. Oh, that's a 7:00 kick. Toledo turned some heads in their game against Kentucky. They gave Kentucky everything they could handle. And West Kentucky, like you said, a sleeper team to get into the playoff. This is a battle of two, I think, very good teams, Kevin. This could honestly go either way. This is like a coin flip game, in my opinion. But
it literally is. Toledo's favored by 7.
Okay, I'm taking Toledo. This is crazy. I'm taking the Rockets. I'm a big believer in the Rockets. They started the season against really good competition and came out almost with a win. Meanwhile, Western Kentucky beat up on an FCS team. I think Toledo is going to be more ready to take on Western than Western is ready to take on Toledo. And they're at home, too. So give me the Rockets. I'm taking the Rockets here.
I'll take Western. I'm confident in them.
Okay.
Confident in the lovely
McIver. Yeah. McIver's supremacy.
McIver. I like Katie Hutchinson. Yeah. I like that squad. So, yeah, give me Western. It's a coin flip, but, yeah, give me Western on the road.
7:30 kick, La Tech's heading to
LSU.
The real Death Valley.
Move on, LSU.
Yeah, they're the number 3 team in the
land. I hope I'm wrong, but LSU. Come on.
Yeah, LSU. This is just like, I hope they're getting a good bag from LSU. I will say that. So
go ahead.
9:00 kick. Don't you just love 9:00 kicks, Kevin?
Jesus Christ, 12 a.m. kick. Same.
Yeah, it's midnight.
So I guess we'll be watching that game.
New Mexico State's taking on Tulsa. Tulsa is, you would think Tulsa would be a really consistently good football team, but they're
nope. They suck. Yeah.
But they did beat up on Abilene Christian 35-7, but big deal. Meanwhile, okay, this is the battle of who won their respective game against an FCS team better, Tulsa or New Mexico State, and it was Tulsa who actually pulled it off.
It's the battle of 2 former Panthers
That's
AJ
right.
Allen and David Yost. Give me AJ Allen. Tulsa.
Give me Tulsa as well. I'm feeling good about the Golden
New
Earth.
Mexico State sucks.
UTEP is taking on UT Martin, a team that is no stranger to knocking off Conference USA opponents. They did it last year against Kennesaw State. UT Martin play in the Ohio Valley Conference / Big South Combination Conference in FCS. It's like a merger between those two conferences. Scotty Walden, you better watch out because UT Martin, they're gonna want blood.
Give me the Fighting Scotty Waldens. Shout out Adrian Broadus.
Shout out Adrian Broadus. Shout out Zay Galindo.
I will be watching that UTEP game.
I will be watching it and picking UTEP. Although I would not be shocked at all. I was shocked.
Scotty Walden lost to an FCS team last year.
Listen, I was shocked. I was shocked that Austin Peay beat Middle Tennessee. I would not be shocked if UT Martin pulled this off against UTEP.
I think UTEP's offense is just better than last year.
We have a midnight football game on Sunday.
Hawaii. Sam Houston falls to 0-3.
Yeah, and they're this season from hell continues.
I actually want to see what the odds of that game are.
Kevin, we only have one more game left to talk about. I think it's time to ask a pretty big question here. Who will win? The most important question asked here. But before we go, let's see what EA thinks.
Well, some might think this head coach has a tough locker room speech after this one. I would suggest that he starts with, "That's just bad."
Bad. Or, as Reese Davis would say, ungood.
What the hell was that, Reese? Okay, whatever. That's what EA thinks. But you know what? I'm pretty sure that they don't cover with that score. So
42.5.
Alrighty then. Let's kick things off here. We're starting off with Kevin. Who is winning this game and what is the final score?
Yeah, Penn State's winning this one.
No!
I gotta be honest with you. They're better at everything. Like, it's pretty simple. Yeah, FIU will lose by a final score of 52.
Oh my God.
Is that even possible? Yeah, I think it is. 52. Actually, no, 55-14.
55-14. So that's a 41. 41. So they don't cover.
41.5, yeah.
Me likey. All right, I'm coming up here next. Where would they put the statue of Willie Simmons when they knock off Penn State? Is that going next to that soldier one they have across the stadium? Maybe we'll like go next to. All right, Penn State's winning, but they don't cross the 50-point mark. I think the defense does just enough. They score a lot of points to start, then they close up shop in the second half, and then this game just goes by super fuego. I'm going to say they win by a final score of 45-17. 45-17, which hell no, they're not covering.
I'd be pretty happy with that score.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I mean, in reality, I'd be happy with either one of our final scores.
The realistic things, what I want to see, one or two positions.
I don't want to see
one or two positions look good, and no one gets injured. No one gets injured. So,
all right.
Again, thank you so much, Landon Tengwall, for stopping by, talking some Penn State talk. And, yeah, let's just see what happens here. It's a noon kickoff, Big Ten Network. If you don't have it, it's on the radio. I think it's, what is it?
Gold Reach. He has access to it, and he can make it happen for you. So, yes, just DM Jake Gibson at Jake DM East. And you could also, DMC, I'm sorry. And you could also reach out to him on the Paws podcast.
Corey Brooks and Steve Goldie on the radio call, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin. That's pretty cool. It's a cool duo. And we'll see what happens. So thank y'all so much for the coverage. And until our post-game show, which will hopefully be awesome.
Halftime show. Pause.